This week's ADC location of the week is Sorrento. Sorrento is a historic township located on the beautiful Mornington Peninsula. Sorrento is about 90 minutes drive down the peninsula link from the hustle and bustle of Melbourne's CBD. Discovered in 1803, Sorrento is believed to be the first European settlement in Victoria. In 1863, Sir Charles Gavan Duffy, a then Member of Parliament and later Premier of Victoria, purchased land at Point King and built a holiday house. He named Sorrento after the beautiful coastal town in Italy. By about the 1870s, the wealthy Melburnians got word of this beautiful place and the health-giving properties on offer. Today, Sorrento is a thriving holiday destination, retaining much of its historic charm with a splash of cosmopolitan. During summer, it's one of the state's busiest holiday destinations. Then there is the Sorrento to Queenscliff ferry that operates on a daily basis for those people who would prefer to take the trip over to the other side of Port Phillip Bay and make it feel more like a holiday than the boring drive on offer in the congested traffic conditions. Sorrento is truly worth a visit. So after our leisurely drive down the Mornington Peninsula link in the trusty Jeep, we finally arrived at the Sorrento boat ramp. And just as I expected, we were the only ones at the boat ramp, so launching was going to be quick and easy. And before we could say much, the boat was in the water and we were on our way. G'day guys, I'd like to welcome you all to the first episode of Real Fun Lifestyle and Fishing. Now some of you know me and some of you don't, but for those of you that don't know me, my name's Dean, and for those of you that do know me, how you going? Welcome back. Now guys, I just want to get one thing clear on this show. It is a lifestyle and fishing show. I'm by no means a fishing specialist. I'm a guy who drives a Jeep, who owns a Surtees, who lives in a beautiful country and loves to enjoy it. And with that in mind, I thought to myself, what better way to get some really good fishing done than to have an expert on board with me. So I've been lucky enough this year to be joined by someone who I reckon is probably one of the best at it. I actually call him the Fish Whisperer because he does some amazing things. And today's a classic example. Guys, it's blowing 15 to 20. I was at home thinking to myself, there is no way we're going to get out here and have a fish. The Fish Whisperer, he says to me, no, we're out. We're going to go and have a crack. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce the Fish Whisperer and someone who I call a really good mate of mine, Wayne Blake, aka GB. GB, welcome.
Thanks, Dean. Thank you.
Mate, it's great to have you on board. Now GB, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and what you've done and what you're currently doing?
Well, my earliest memory is fishing. It's all I've ever done. It's my biggest passion in life. I've brought that through into my family, with my girls too. Yeah, I've done everything you can think of in fishing, both commercially and recreationally. And my passion now is recreational fishing, and I jump on people's boats and do the odd guide.
Yeah.
I'm an ex-charter boat fisherman at heart, but yeah, I really enjoy it.
And that's a great thing to do, you know. A lot of us will jump on a charter boat and go, you know, we'll go out and have a fish and find out how they're catching the fish and what they're doing and so on and so forth. But there's no better way than to have someone like GB on your boat. And GB shows you how to use your boat, use your sounder, use your gear, tie the knots, baits, etc, etc. You're doing it on your own boat and you get really good at it. So this year you guys And I mean you guys watching are really, really lucky to have a guy like this on board, because GB's promised me we're going to get some crackers this year, and guess what? You guys are going to be on board. Now GB, what are we going to have a crack at today?
So first up, we've got a run out tide, so it's a bit wind against tide, makes things a little bit difficult. So we're going to go squid fishing first. Calamari in southern Port Phillip is renowned, like it's really good fishing. So we'll go get some squid, and then hopefully on the tide change we'll have a crack at some whiting.
Well, that sounds exciting, guys, and I know one thing for sure. I've been on a few trips with GB and we don't miss very often, so I reckon you guys are in for some action. Let's go do this,
Right,
mate.
let's do it.
Brighton Jeep, we don't just sell Jeeps, we live Jeeps.
Okay, now GB, we've come to a spot not too far off from where we've put the boat in the water, but GB, I've fished for squid on several occasions, and whenever I seem to fish, I'm drifting for squid. Now you've dropped anchor here, mate. What's going on with that?
Yeah, because we've got a bit of wind, it's going to be a really fast drift. So on this spot here, we've got a nice little drop off on the edge of a weed bank. So we're actually going to cast and let the tide pull our jigs down, and actually that'll do the drifting for us. The jigs will actually work their way down like a river, trout fishing sort of.
Okay, so we're actually casting into the tide?
Into the tide, and the jig's going to drift down into that strike zone.
Okay, so we got a variety of jigs here, GB. Which ones do you reckon we should use, and what's the best method for getting them onto your line?
Okay, so I'm going to use one of the pink Sapphires here.
Yep.
And I just tie it straight on with a uni knot. So it's pretty simple.
So mate, I've left a little bit of a loop. I don't know if the camera can pick that up, but I've left a little bit of a loop in the end. That sort of works as well, doesn't it?
Yeah,
I've got that. It's just a loop that I've tied on the end of my line, and what that does is it allows me to chop and change the jig as I please. Another thing you'll also find is we've got mono leader onto braid. Why do we do that, GB?
Oh, the braid gives you a better feel, a quicker sink rate. It's just a lot better for casting, and also it's a thinner line, so it's a lot better for feel and stuff like that. But we have to put the little bit of mono on just to give it that clear presence next to the actual jig or the bait, and also a little bit of shock absorption.
A little bit of flex, yeah, awesome. All right, well, let's give it a go, mate, and see how we go.
So we arrived at the location, we got our gear ready, got our jigs in the water, and surprise, surprise.
There you go, first one.
Yeah, so mate, we've been here for like 5 minutes. Seriously, I reckon I'd still be at home in bed.
Yep.
And the fish whisperer is on.
There we go. If I just grab him round the head, you can actually hold his squirt tube like that, and he won't squirt us. That's a nice little calamari. It's a good start. From the pink sapphire. So let's see if we can get a few of these and get a good feed of them, and then we'll have a good crack and good look for some whiting this next tide change.
After GB got his first calamari and we got it on the boat, I thought, you know what? We're on the lucky spot. The weather and conditions seemed to be getting a little worse, and I started to think, oh no, is that all we're going to catch? But true to form, we had landed on the spot. And guess what? This time, it was my turn. So join us after the break to see what I get up to.
Seriously, he is dead set, the fish whisperer. I'm telling you guys, I would be at home in bed today, right? And this guy has said, no, let's go out and have a little bit of a go. And he's just got on, right? I kid you not a minute later, I'm on. So, another nice little calamari. Why would you be at home in bed? Seriously, when you're doing stuff like this, guys, Victorian waters, how good are they?
Well, unfortunately, the calamari that I got on the boat was the last one we got. But hey, 2 on the boat is better than none, I always say. Now, the tide was starting to slow and also starting to turn, so GB said it's time for us to go and chase some whiting, and that's exactly what we did. Well, we didn't have to travel too far, and when we got to our spot, we dropped the anchor, we got our burley ready, because that's the secret to whiting fishing, GB says. Got the pot in the water, and before too long, guess what?
We've moved spots, tried a different thing, and we found the ting.
Wow, what a cracker.
So that's what we were waiting for, that tide change. There we go. Caught on the jaw hookup with the Gamakatsu. The great thing about whiting, if you hold them around the eyes like that, they normally settle down and they don't jump around too much. There's no spikes on them, so they're good for kids. Beautiful eating. Let's get a few more.
It's a good size too. Now, Gwayne, what bait are we using at the moment?
So we're just using pippies, or cockles, as they call them in South Australia. So now we've caught a couple, we'll hopefully catch a couple more. Once they start feeding a bit more heavily, we'll use a bit of squid as well. And yeah, hopefully we can get a nice feed.
I hope we get a nice feed, because as you can see, I'm buttoned up right to my chin. That's how cold it is. And the fish whisperer still managed to get onto one of these. How do you do it?
That's right, now it's my turn.
Okay, so we've persisted. We're still out here. It's windy, it's cold. There doesn't seem to be too much happening, but I've managed to jag something here. It's got a little bit of, oh no, here it comes. I was going to say it's got a little bit of whiting about it, but more like a flathead, and sure enough, there it is. Probably Port Phillip Bay's most popular species, would you say, GB?
Yeah, it is, mate.
Hey? Well, this guy's going back in the water. He's not big enough for us to keep. Got the hook out. Just watch those spikes. If they get you, you'll know about it. Let him go. These things are that tough. Straight in the water. Off he goes. Straight to the bottom. A lot of fun though.
Well, the conditions started to get the better of us, so we decided it was time to pack it up, head back to the boat ramp, and put the boat on the trailer. But before we did that, we had one more stop to make.
Okay, well here we are. The end of the day, GB, we didn't get exactly what we wanted, but hey,
it was tough.
Yeah, it was tough, mate. It's cold.
Yep.
It's the middle of winter. It's like, what was the water temperature? 10 degrees,
Yeah.
10.2 degrees
the
or something
lowest it
stupid
gets
like that.
for the year.
But I can tell you what, guys, if it was me out here having a fish, today I'd be going home empty. But because I got the fish whisperer with me, we're about to have a feed. So I'm about to take it into my domain. This is what I love to do. So we're going to get over here. We're going to show you how we cook this up. And me and the fish whisperer, aka GB, are going to have a little bit of a feed. So let's go and get this done.
This week's ADC Safety Tip of the Week. Get the hitch locked down. Lock your jockey wheel away. Get your D-shackles connected, nice and tight. When you have two chains, it's a good idea to cross the chains. Connect your trailer lights, make sure the brakes are working, and it's time to go fishing.
Okay, so the good thing about this Surtees, they come with their own little cooker. So we can get to do things like this, and I always come prepared. Got the fry pan, I've had it on because it's a little bit cold today, so I want to get a little bit of heat in. So we're about to use some of this roasted onion infused olive oil. Put a little bit of that on the fry pan. Spread it around. Wow, I wish you were here to smell it. It is absolutely delicious. Smells fantastic. Let that warm up a little bit, which we're going to do right now. I've already managed to pre-clean my calamari. I've put a few rings in there and I've put a few strips in there. Got the tentacles in there because us Greeks, we don't like to waste anything. I've also got the nice little fillet of King George whiting. So let's start the cooking. As you can see, the tentacles are that fresh, they're still clinging. So in we go. You can hear that sizzling. It's exactly what we wanted to do. Oh, yum. That smells delicious. I really do wish you were here with me to smell this. Get that oil around there, all around the fry pan. But one thing I like about calamari is it doesn't take too long. The biggest mistake that people make is they try and overcook it. So as you can see, some of these tentacles are already starting to change colour. I've got some nice little rings in there. Just keep it moving. As you can see, it's starting to change colour, and that's what we want. You can actually feel it when you're cooking it. It starts to go a bit hard. It loses that softness that it has about it. We'll just pour all these onto the plate there, and we'll get the King George whiting going as well.
So once we've emptied the fry pan, we put the olive oil back on the nice hot fry pan. Try and make it quick because we need to retain the heat in the fry pan. And now we're ready to put on those beautiful fresh fillets of King George whiting.
And now what we're going to do, we've got our calamari here, ready to go, and that's how quick it is. I'm just going to hand that to GB while I cook the whiting, and the whiting's going to be very, very quick as well. So, nice hot fry pan. That's it, on she goes. Again, whiting's nice and quick. Be better if it wasn't so cold today. Because it's so cold, the fry pan's actually struggling to get the heat into it. I'm lucky this is quite a good fry pan though. What it does is it conducts its heat very, very well right across the fry pan. So and flip him over, and that's how quick it is, you know. That's how quick the whiting's done as well. Got to make sure that we get that onto the plate. One thing you should always do when you finish with the barbecue, don't turn it off at the tap. I like to, don't turn it off at the switch up here. I like to get underneath and turn the tap off. Make sure that I empty all the gas. Another thing you'll notice is I leave the door open while I'm cooking. Don't like the gas to be caught up in there. So, right, GB, you want to come over here, buddy? Mate, we got a couple of forks there. Been a great day, our first episode. It's going to be a great season. I'm really looking forward to some fun that we're going to have. We're going to travel the country everywhere, try and catch some fish. We like to try and stay in Victoria because we love our fishery down here, don't we?
Yep.
And I do have one of the masters here who's going to be able to help me to cook some beautiful fish for you guys to watch this year. So anyway, GB, hook in.
Cheers, mate. Bon appetit.
Bon appetit, guys. Thanks for joining us.
So next week on Real Fun Lifestyle and Fishing, the weather may not have heated up very much, but I can tell you something, the action sure has.